There is a Bluey episode that has made grown adults sob alone on their couches at midnight. An episode that parents have described as the most beautiful 7 minutes of television they have ever seen. An episode that reached into the chest of every person who has ever loved someone and squeezed. And most of the people who cried watching it missed the ending completely. Not the credits, not the final scene. The actual ending, the thing the show was saying underneath everything else. The layer that only reveals itself when you know what to look for. Because Bluey does not hand you its meaning on a plate. It hides it, in plain sight, inside an animated dream sequence about a 4-year-old dog floating through the solar system with her stuffed rabbit. Today we are going through the most emotional episodes in Bluey's entire run. The ones that hit hardest. The ones that left marks. And in every single case, we are going to show you what most people missed while they were wiping their eyes. Because the show earned those tears twice. Once on the surface, and once underneath. Let's get into it. Sleepy Time is a story about bedtime. Bingo wants to do a big girl sleep and stay in her own bed all night. Chili tucks her in, reads her 2 books, finds her stuffed rabbit Floppy on the floor, and tells her the words that every parent has said and every child has needed to hear. I am always here if you need me. Bingo closes her eyes. And then the episode does something nobody was ready for. Gustav Holst's Jupiter begins to play. The camera drifts to the cover of Bingo's spacebook, and then Bingo hatches out of planet Earth. What follows is 7 minutes of the most visually stunning animation the show ever produced. Set to orchestral music that builds from a gentle lullaby into something that sounds like the entire universe opening up at once. In her dream, Bingo and Floppy explore the solar system together. Every planet they visit corresponds to something happening in the real healer house simultaneously. Every moment in the dream has a mirror in reality. And this is where most people are watching with tears in their eyes, but not quite seeing what the show is doing. Bingo in her dream hatches from planet Earth. Earth is home. Earth is the beginning. It is where she came from. Floppy hatches from the moon, because Floppy is always there. Close but separate, her own small world orbiting the same center. Bluey, Bingo's older sister, is Venus, warm and bright, another planet nearby. And the sun, the enormous warm center of everything that Bingo and Floppy keep floating toward, the thing the whole dream is organized around, that is Chili, that is Mom. The entire solar system of this dream is Bingo's emotional world mapped onto the universe. Every member of her family is a celestial body. And the dream is not just a dream. It is a portrait of how a 4-year-old understands love. Not as a concept, as gravity, as warmth, as the thing in the distance that everything orbits without having to try. The ending that almost nobody catches is this. When Bingo cries in her sleep, alone and cold at the edge of the solar system, Chili hears her from down the hall and gets up immediately. She goes to Bingo, she lies down beside her, she finds Floppy in the hallway and returns her. And in Bingo's dream, the sun speaks. It says the exact words Chili said at bedtime. I will always be here for you, even if you cannot see me, because I love you. Then the music builds to its full, overwhelming peak, and the camera pulls slowly back through the healer house in real life, showing every room. Bandit and Bluey asleep together on the floor, where they ended up. Chili back in her own bed after hours of getting up for everyone else. Bingo asleep in her own bed, Floppy in her arms, having done it. The big girl sleep, the sun rising over all of it. The episode is not about bedtime. It is about the invisible architecture of love that holds a family together even in the dark, even when nobody is awake to see it, even when all the lights are off and everyone is in the wrong bed on the wrong floor. The love is still there, radiating like a star. A parent who had lost her own mother watched this episode with her friend and cried so hard she could not explain to the room why. She did not need to. The episode already knew. Onesies begins as an episode about presents. Chili's sister Brandy arrives with onesies for Bluey and Bingo. The girls are delighted. Bingo's onesie turns her into a cat. Bluey's turns her into a crocodile. They run around being chaotic in their animal suits while the adults try to have a conversation. Normal Bluey episode. Cute, funny, nothing alarming. And then you notice Brandy. She has not been part of the girls' lives. Chili mentions this early and moves past it quickly. The way adults move past things in front of children, when the real explanation is not for young ears. But the show is not moving past it. It is watching Brandy watch the girls. And the way Brandy watches them tells you everything. She watches Bluey and Bingo the way someone watches something they have wanted for a very long time and decided they cannot have. Not with resentment, that would be easier to watch. With a kind of quiet, careful grief. The kind that has been managed and boxed and carried around for years until it just lives inside you like furniture. The episode never uses the word infertility. It does not need to. Every adult watching the episode understood immediately. Parents who had been through fertility struggles themselves said publicly and in enormous numbers that this episode described their experience with more accuracy and compassion than anything they had encountered outside of their own lives. Brandy had stayed away from Chili's family, not because she did not love them, but because being near them hurt in a way she could not always manage. Near the end of the episode, Bingo in her cat onesie climbs into Brandy's lap and falls asleep. And something in Brandy's face shifts. Not all the way, not into happiness, but into something that is at least in the same direction. The hidden detail most people missed is in the final shot. As Brandy is leaving, Chili walks her out. They hug, and Chili holds on for slightly longer than a normal goodbye hug. It is 1 extra second, maybe 2. And in that extra second, the show tells you everything about what both women know and cannot say in front of the children. The episode ends with Chili watching Brandy's car drive away, just watching, and then she goes back inside. The show does not explain Brandy's feelings. It does not give her a speech or a moment of catharsis or a lesson. It just shows a woman at the edge of something enormous, finding a small moment of warmth inside it, and then leaving, because that is what that experience actually is. Small moments, and then leaving, and then coming back again when you can. The Sign is the longest episode in Bluey's history. 28 minutes, 4 times the length of a normal episode. It contains a wedding, a runaway bride, a butterfly named Flappy who has appeared across multiple seasons, a police officer voiced by Joel Edgerton, Grandpa Bob finally returning from India, and the revelation that Brandy is pregnant. There is enough happening on the surface of this episode to fill a feature film. And because of all of that, almost everyone missed what is happening in the background of the wedding reception. Stripe and Trixie, Bandit's brother and sister-in-law, parents of Muffin and Socks, the couple who has been part of every family gathering throughout the entire show, are not okay. They are not fighting on camera. There is no dramatic confrontation. But if you watch them during the wedding reception with any attention, the show has placed very specific details in the background of multiple scenes that, when you line them up, describe a marriage that is quietly in serious trouble. They sit apart during speeches. When other couples lean into each other or share small looks, Stripe and Trixie do not. There are moments where they are physically close, but their body language points away from each other. The detail that caught fan attention most sharply was pointed out by a TikTok account who laid out the visual evidence frame by frame. In the background of one shot, smash that like button if this one actually got you, and subscribe so you never miss another video like this. What is the Bluey episode that broke you the most? Drop it in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.